Hi there folks, today is day 37 on my 100-day juice feast and I'm feeling amazing today. Moved to a new location here to make my videos close to my plants. You can see right behind me I've got my all of my sprouts that I'm going to juice, my wheatgrass and barley grass and whatnot that I'm super excited about. And I wanted to do a little video today, not just about my juicing, but I wanted to give my thoughts on the raw food diet and which raw food diet is, based on my experience, what I feel is the healthiest, or at least what I feel for me is the healthiest. So I have, done raw foods off and on for, oh God, probably about 12 years now. I've had periods where I've been strictly raw, 100%, and times where I have, just eaten high raw, and then, I've heard a lot about the different diets, about, the high greens, low fruit diet, the high fruit and a little bit of greens, and low fat diet, and all in all, between all these diets, I think that really it has to be individual for each person. In going between a vegan diet and a paleo diet, paleo being someone who eats raw animal products, raw meat, dairy and all that, I personally don't agree with that diet. I don't think that it's optimal for body fuel, not to mention the ethical part of it in eating animals that we don't actually need to eat to survive and be healthy. I feel it's actually the other way around. We'll be healthier without them. In terms of the diets, though, between like the 80-10-10 diet, which is Dr. Douglas Graham's diet, which is 80% carbs, 10% fat, 10% protein, that particular diet I think actually is the ideal diet, but I must say that that is the ideal diet for someone who has detoxed their body properly and is living in a very warm tropical type environment. So if you're living up in the cold north, it may not be the ideal diet for you, and there are a few reasons for this. Now, not to say that you can't do the diet in these colder places, you certainly can, but from an ecological standpoint, having all of your fruit shipped from tropical countries to where you're living isn't very ecologically sound, and being in areas that are colder, and not having as much access or even affordable access to these foods may hinder a lot of people from doing that diet. And possibly in the colder weather, people may need just a little bit more fat, and they may need to be able to eat on the go, which is really, for any busy person, you may not have time to down 30 bananas or 10 mangoes. But that being said, I still do believe it is, under the right circumstances, the ideal human diet, what our body is best designed for. We have, the long intestinal tract, and we've got a pH, an alkaline pH digestive system, which is designed to break down fruit and greens. And I think that with our teeth too, a lot of people say, well, we've got partial canines, but and that's for meat, but if you ever go and trying to rip into the flesh of a dead animal, trying to rip through its hide with your teeth, it's not going to go so well for a lot of animals, especially the larger animals that people eat today, like beef and cows and all that other stuff. But it is ideal for ripping into fruit, all kinds of fruit, and the back of the teeth, the flat teeth for chewing, are excellent for greens and some other vegetables which aren't so coarse. So I think we're definitely designed for a high fruit, moderate level of greens diet. And I think that if you're living in a colder climate, or your body needs to detox more, you're living far away from the tropics where it's not affordable to eat all fruit and pay the expensive prices because of the shipping, I think that you can do a very healthy diet that is still, you still want it to be low fat, you don't want it to be high nuts and oils and seeds. You want it to be high in greens. You want a moderate amount of fat, and you want to eat locally. Eat as much local fruit as you can, and just like I'm doing in my bedroom here, grow some of your greens. This is so easy. This shelving unit, I actually got from a roommate, but you can purchase something like this at Costco or Home Depot for under 50 bucks. These trays that I bought were $1.29 a piece. I can reuse them over and over again, and I've got a bag of soil here that I use to grow my sprouts and wheatgrass in, and this bag was $12. You can certainly get cheaper bags of soil than that, but that was what I was able to find around here because I wanted a soil that was veganic, that didn't contain any animal manure or animal parts or whatnot. Not that I necessarily have a problem with manure, but for the purpose of growing my sprouts indoors, I just felt like it was unnecessary, and if I can do without it, I'd rather do that. So then the sprouts, like the wheat berries, for enough wheat berries to do, oh gosh, like 5 trays of sprouts, or even more than that actually, around 7 trays of sprouts, it cost me like $4. And the same thing for the buckwheat greens, which weren't very expensive, the barley grass and all that, very cheap. So you can grow your own trays for essentially like $2 a piece. You know, and in that bag that I have there, that lasts for probably 10 or more trays, and I actually don't put very much dirt in these. Essentially they're kind of like hydroponic with a little dirt, and I'll put a little kelp powder in to fertilize them just to give a little extra nutrition into the sprout and the grass. But a little goes a long way, and again, you can certainly get cheaper bags of soil than that, and if you have a garden outside, you could go out and do that as well. But anyways, I'm going to do a part 2 to this video. I'm going to have to cut out now because my battery on my laptop here is dying and I don't have it plugged in. So I will see you in part 2 in just a minute.